Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio, in Christ Radio, with your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, which is also Horizon Television out there in Marshall County. And you can also find us on Abundance TV, which is worldwide. We're found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And I didn't tell Shalon, but we're also in Australia now. Yeah, so this is all part of the network with Abundance TV. And I tell you, the more research I'm doing about Australia, I'd like to go out there and take a little visit.
Spiders are really big. I don't know that I can make it.
Oh my, so you just messed it up for me. Yeah, they're big enough here on the farm. So I can just about imagine Shalon Steed is with me right now. And she's with Shepherd's Cove Hospice. And you guys are absolutely awesome and always enjoy our time together. You guys do so many great things in the community. What's going on new with Shepherd's Cove?
Well, I would say new. We are, gearing up for our holiday fundraising season, as well as just really trying to make sure that we are loving on our patients and families as much as we can in this holiday season. We have just worked with United Way of Marshall County to do their Day of Caring, and had a lovely project done here in the Albertville office. They had a group that redid our kids' room, so it's a little bit more friendly. So if kids are coming to visit grandparents or parents that are in hospice, they can actually utilize the rooms. There are like a Barbie dream house and some other stuff. They did some great painting on the wall. I mean, it's beautiful in there, and it makes you really want to go in there and enjoy it. They've got some video games and some other stuff that I think the kids that visit will really love. And then we've had a lot of other things done around here. So we're just kind of sprucing up here for getting ready for the holiday season. We're gearing into Lights of Love, which will be December 13th this year, which is our annual memorial event that we have every year. So it'll be, I think, 4 to 6:30 on December 13th, which is a Tuesday. Information about that will be out in the next couple of weeks. And so, yeah, we're settling in for the holidays.
Yeah, absolutely. And the holidays are an awesome time of the year. And I know when my grandparents passed away, my grandmother passed away, she loved Christmas, both my grandmothers. And so it's always such a special event. And when I plan something for Christmas, I always think about what would mama or grandmother do in this event? So it's always a great event for great memories.
Yes, our Lights of Love event is just so personal, and just honestly, it's something you have to experience. We'll have a luminary garden in our front lawn when everybody pulls up, where we're lighting, I think, 500 or so luminaries to recognize the patients that have passed with us over the last year. We will have, hot chocolate and cookies. We'll have some carol singers, hopefully. We're still kind of getting some of the details together, so I think there'll be some big surprises everybody will enjoy. It's really a great time for people that have lost someone to come back and just kind of have a moment where they can reflect on what they've lost, but also see kind of the joy in the morning. You can talk about, that it's okay to have good memories and reflect on that, but it's also okay to celebrate and move forward and use the grief tools that you've learned either through bereavement counseling or anything that you've done personally to kind of walk that walk. And, you're also here with a lot of other people that are feeling exactly the same way that you feel. And it's just a wonderful night full of a lot of love. And then, while they're there, we've also got a virtual tree this year, and we've done that for the last 2 years, where that you can do a digital memorial for someone. There'll be hand-painted ornaments that can be customized, and then live cedar trees, and all the pricing and all that will be available soon. But it's just a wonderful event, and it does, in turn, raise some money for our care that we're able to give here.
Absolutely. I wanted to mention something else too, and this is the thrift store, Shepherd's Cove, and I love to go there. I mean, this is like one of my, I love to shop when it comes to Shepherd's Cove's thrift shop, but I wanted to mention this. I walked in, I think it was Friday, Phil and I were there, and so the Christmas shop is open.
Yes.
I'm excited.
It is, I always say the holiday shop, when it opens that Wednesday morning, it's a mix of like the Price is Right, supermarket sweep, and the running of the bulls.
Running of the bulls. That's perfect.
Running of the bulls. And I'm one of them because I want to shop too. But those doors open and the floor starts shaking with all the buggies and shoppers coming in to find their goodies. I lucked out this year. I got a great wreath and some decor. Got a Christmas tree skirt and some like porch, like standees or whatever for our porch this year for decor. It had some really great stuff, and we're continuing to replenish that. So a lot of people think it's just that couple of days. We're open throughout the month of November.
Right.
And so as they get new Christmas stuff, more stuff will come in. They'll restock. They've already restocked, I think, a couple of times at this point. If you have old Christmas stuff, please donate. If you want new Christmas stuff, come shop with great prices on everything. I bought a ton of stuff, and I think I spent $20. So,
like bags full of stuff.
yes.
Oh, and I wanted to mention this. I love to read, and there's something about having a book to read out of, turning the pages. And I know it sounds like old fashioned or whatever, but I think a lot of people are like me. They like a book, they can turn a page. You guys have the books down for like 25 cents.
Yeah, they're very inexpensive. I don't remember the exact cost, but I think sometimes they're from 25 to 50 cents. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll tell you something. My son is a scholar, and he goes to seminary, and so I have seen some seminary books there that would normally cost 50 to 80 bucks. I mean, you never know what you're going to find in a book.
Yeah, we always have some great deals. I think right now too, like there are a ton of picture frames and artwork and stuff that's I think half off even just their regular pricing. So you definitely want to check it out, especially if you're in the mood for like a DIY or something coming up. We just got a new house, so I've been trying to find little things to decorate with, and it's so expensive. So having that resource at the thrift shop's been great to go over there and sneak around and see what good treasures are over there. My husband just bought a record player, and so we've been digging through. I went the other day and was digging through all the records that they had there. They had some cool stuff there too. So lots of VHS tapes. I know some people are like, oh my gosh, VHS, but I was surprised at how many people still have VHS players, and they have a ton of those there, DVDs, some really great clothes in there right now. And of course, furniture. Furniture is always a great resource for us. We love getting it, but it just fills up and looks so good in our store, and it sells really well. So if you ever have furniture to donate, please send it. And if you ever want to buy it, there's always a great piece of solid wood furniture there. I bought a kitchen table there not long ago, and some other things, and some really cute bamboo chairs, some just really cool stuff. So if you're into grand millennial or like coastal grandma right now, those trends that are going, it is all over our thrift shop. So this is the time to come. Brass and golds and just really cool stuff.
If you're a do-it-yourselfer, you'll find all kinds of great things. I've seen some old doors. I'm talking about like good old doors, the kinds that are solid that you could stick a nail in it and hang anything you want to on it. I mean, it was like, and so Phil found a door, and he actually made a table for me in my studio with this old solid door. So, I mean, use your imagination. You can make it go wild. Now, how are folks actually helping? I know you have fun shopping in it, and I do too. But how are you actually helping Shepherd's Cove when you shop at the thrift store?
So some people don't know this, but our thrift shop is actually an arm of our foundation. So any dollar that you spend at the thrift store is coming directly back into Shepherd's Cove. So whether it's with patient care or programming cost or Last Wish funding, volunteer support, there's so many different ways that money comes back into our office to be able to utilize and goes straight back into our patients in the community and their families. So we have, our Last Wish program. We've been working on Last Wish for somebody here recently that we're working on. And so we try to make sure that we can either find a partner or have funding for those when we do those things. And sometimes they're inexpensive and sometimes they're not, but sometimes there's some logistics into it. So if somebody wants to go somewhere, or say like in the past, we've had someone that maybe wanted to go on a last fishing trip. We've got to coordinate a boat, and you've got to coordinate like travel care and making sure they have the right items to go do this. And so you have to get it all together. And there are sometimes some expenses that go with it. Sometimes they want paint sets, or I think we mentioned before, we had someone, an older gentleman that wanted a tattoo, and you got to bring those people in. And we're very fortunate. A lot of people will donate their services, but at times that does cost, as well as, we have patient support grants that we give out if somebody is needing an individual, like a care item or something like that, they might not be able to fund. Our foundation is able to, give support for that if they apply for a grant and are able to receive it. They're small grants, but those are possible. But you're also paying for bereavement services. So when you buy that shirt at the thrift shop, you're coming back and putting money back into the pockets of our bereavement services so that someone can get support after they've lost a loved one. So you're really, really helping out. Even when you spend $1.50, you don't realize when our thrift shop has a great day, it means our organization has a great day. And every dollar that is not spent on upkeeping the thrift shop is come back into our agency.
Absolutely. And if you would like to give, they have a truck there as well. And so now you need to set an appointment. Don't just call on a whim. You need to set up an appointment because you guys are out all over the place picking up stuff.
We do have an appointment for pickup. A truck can go and do a pickup. If in the busy season right now, when everybody's cleaning out for the holidays, in the spring, it can get, a couple days out. But they are happy to go pick up your estates. If you have if you have like a yard sale and you don't want to bring everything back into the house, they can come get it. If you're cleaning out after a loved one's passed, we do that a lot too. We've got great guys that'll come and help load everything back up on the truck and get that moved over to our location. As well, we've got just general drop off. If you have a small, little batch of few boxes, you can drop off any day but Monday and Sunday. We're closed Sunday, but any day but Monday between 9 and 5, you can take those. You don't have to have an appointment to do a drop off. And we do have an after hours area, but I will say, if you want to make sure your stuff's taken care of and all that, just come throughout the day.
So they set up an appointment if you're going to have a yard sale pretty soon. Now, this is just all great fundraising efforts. I know you guys put a lot of fundraisers out throughout the year. What are some ways that can you just give if you want to? Can you just walk into and just give?
Absolutely. That's our favorite kind. If you want to donate, we accept donations year round. You can go to our website, shepherdscove.org. And there's a tab there for foundation where you can go and look at the different ways that you can give and the different amounts and what they will contribute to in those levels. We don't do a ton of fundraising right now. This is kind of like our window for us to reset, but then, first of the year we'll kick off again. We have small little holiday fundraisers, but generally we've got summer soiree, which is every August. And that is our big auction that we do, and dinner. It's a fun time. Now, and starting in January, we will give up for Race to Remember. And it is, we have a new location this year. We're not going to tell everybody where yet, but we do have a
don't do me that way.
And as soon as I can release it, I'll let you know. But it's going to be an amazing night. It's going to be a glow run again and just really fun. I think we're definitely going to light the city up, and we're very excited about that. But like I said, we've got race coming up around April. We've got tons of other little things. But like I said, small amounts work. We have a program called The Flock, and it is a monthly giving program where the levels are as small as $10 a month. So if you can't give a very large donation, you can give in smaller amounts. And so we have a lot of, even employees or, people in the community, people my age, younger, where they want to give something, but, $1,000 donation may be a huge commitment at that point, but you can give $50. And so you can do that, $10 a month, $50 to $100, you can do $10 a month, and then you're a monthly contributor and you become a member of the flock. So all that information is on our website. You can look there and see what's available. And if you ever have any questions, you can always contact our foundation office, and they'll run you through it. They love money.
Absolutely.
It helps us take everything, put everything back into what we do. So
absolutely. And it's an awesome thing. Let's talk about volunteers, because I know you can always use volunteers.
Yes, and we need you. We need volunteers. We are required, hospice is required that 5% of our patient care be performed by a volunteer. We're lucky we are able to meet those with the wonderful volunteers that we have, but as our patient reach grows and as our number of patients grows, so do the needs for volunteers to come and help with those patients. So most people hear volunteers and they think, I don't think I can sit with a patient. I don't know that that's where my wheelhouse is. Well, there's so many different ways that you can volunteer. Yes, you can sit with a patient so that a caregiver can take a break or go run an errand, but you can also come in, and we have people that can mow yards. We have people that do just general cleanup. We have people that go out and read. We have people that just deliver the Cove Crafter gifts. Like you participate in Cove Crafters, there's a whole group of volunteers that go out and deliver those gifts to our patients that you do there, as well as delivering, birthday or holiday or anniversary flowers, help plan celebrations. If you're somebody that wants to help celebrate, plan a 100th birthday party, we can use you there. But we also really need clerical volunteers. So I know our palliative care program, our hospice program, and our foundation programs all have clerical volunteers that can come in and help make books or do data entry or help work on files. We have people that do phone banks, so they call and check in on patients and family members to see how they're doing and kind of update records and those type of things. So there is something for everyone if you want to volunteer. If you have the time and the ability to do that, we can find a place for you. We want to use your talents to help our organization. So we will, if you have a strong suit, we want to find it, we want to use it, we want to figure out what we can do. So it is great. Again, you can go to our website, shepherdscove.org/volunteer. There's a profile you have to fill out. You do have to go through training, which is always what everybody's like, oh, training. It's not that bad. So you can go through training, get situated and set up, and then we'll be able to utilize you. One area we do need volunteers as well are chaplains. So if there are chaplains in the area that are interested, please get in touch with us because we would love to utilize you.
Absolutely. You know, I'm with the Cove Crafters. And again, whatever you love doing, I love crafting stuff. And so we have a lot of fun doing that. It's generally the second Thursday of the month. This time it's going to be the third. And so I'm really excited about that. And by the way, you know, you're fed when you get there. Yeah.
Dinner, Santa Fe.
Santa Fe feeds you. And it's always something awesome.
Yes, they do a good job of taking care of our crafters. It is a night event. Children are welcome. Any age is welcome. And just as long as you kind of RSVP and let us know how many will be there, you'll have a meal ready to go. It's anything from, sometimes it's a club, sometimes it's a steak. You just never know, whatever Santa Fe gets in the mood to send us. But they were so thankful that they take care of our group. And we're thankful for y'all too. Cove Crafters is a great group. Loretta does a wonderful job with her crew and what she does. And the gifts are so appreciated by our patients and their families. And you never think like, oh, this little notepad or this small little, you know, ornament or pack of this cute little, the Sunday sock cup things I always love. Some of the fun stuff they do. But they just fall in love and they're so thankful that somebody thought about them. And, you know, they bring so much joy. And it's just a small little gift that we were able to give out to the patients because of what Cove Crafters does.
Absolutely. Things like this, you know, this is a little book, and think about the treasure that, you know, someone is at the end of life and they take little notes and they put it in here. I would think the family members would be fighting over that book.
Yeah.
This got some great notes and stuff. And I went on ahead and made one for myself. And I used this one for my gardening. And then when I was hatching some chickens, I went on Shalon, you got to come to the farm sometime. We'll have the show at the farm.
Yeah. So I love chickens.
oh my goodness. I especially love the eggs. Those are really good. But yeah, these little books are just really neat. And you can learn all kinds of things. And like you just mentioned, Loretta, man, she's talented. And when you were talking about the socks, that she said, we're gonna make Sundays. And I said, we're gonna what? And she said, we're gonna make Sundays. And I said, how are we gonna give those to patients? And she said, you'll see, trust me, out of socks. And it really looked like an ice cream sundae. I mean, it's just,
they're so cute and simple. Like our gifts are, anybody can do these crafts. You don't have to be, you know, a big DIYer or anything. And you don't have to come consistently. If it's something that you just want to kind of do, we have a couple of volunteers that'll come a couple times a year with their kids. They've got young daughters that are, you know, 8, 9, 10, 11. And so they'll rope them up and they'll go do, they're kind of a mommy daughter night out, and they go to Cove Crafters and they get to give back, but they also get to spend time together. And I think that's a great thing, you know, teaching volunteerism at a young age, but also showing that, you know, what you do doesn't have to be super fussy or whatever. We can show love and we can show care in very small, intimate ways, and it really can make a huge impact.
Absolutely. You know, you had also mentioned last wishes, and you guys have actually been like very successful at bringing families back together.
We have amazing social workers. We've got amazing staff. All of our team is great, but we've got fantastic social workers that work really hard to really mend fences if that's a wish of somebody that's going on. We have had social workers that have tried to work with, you know, different countries to try to get somebody here to say goodbye. We've been able to, you know, they've been able to mend these relationships sometimes just in the nick of time. We have had social workers that have planned weddings for grandchildren and children, you know, in quick days. I think 2 to 3 days, we're able to get the wedding put together so that the grandmother could see her, you know, grandchildren get married. I mean, it's just phenomenal to think of what people can do when they put their minds to it. And if it is attainable by our staff, they are going to do everything within their power to make sure that that patient and that family have what they need in order to make sure this last kind of wish is fulfilled. And sometimes they're simple. Sometimes these last wishes are so simple. Somebody just wants to paint, or and I say unfortunately because sometimes it's very emotional what we do, but we take care of everyone, birth to 100, 150, however long that you're graced to be with us. And so we've had princess parties before, princess birthday parties before, and we've had last Easter egg hunts, and we've had, holiday parties and anniversary parties and birthday parties. 100th birthday parties are great because they're celebrations. Even though somebody's in hospice, they're so excited, you made it. And those are fun to be a part of. But our social workers they go to whatever length that they can in order to make sure that our patients and families are taken care of. Not even in last wishes, just even with social services that are available that the patient and family may not know about or may have had difficulties, they will help them try to get those programs, started and ready to go, help with paperwork, help with, navigating those channels, which can be very difficult. And they can be very difficult when somebody is sick and doesn't necessarily have the time and resource or energy to really dive into that. And they may be missing out on a resource that could be very beneficial to them. So we're so thankful for the team that we have, because if it was not for our nurses and our social workers and our aides, none of us would be here. But the care just wouldn't be there if those care partners weren't part of our team. So we're very fortunate to have amazing people on this bus with us to, help people navigate that end of life journey.
I wanted to ask you a question too, and this is about, are there age restrictions? And the reason I'm asking is someone could be in high school right now thinking they might get into the medical field, but could they volunteer just to see if that's something they would like to do?
So there are some job shadowing opportunities where some of the high school programs will come in and they can do like a tour or something along those lines. However, because we do have to do a background check, there are age restrictions on general hospice volunteers. So if you're doing patient care volunteering, you do have to be, I think it's 18 or 19, depending on, I guess, the background check level. But if you want to be a foundation volunteer, you can be as young as you want to be. So you don't have to have those restrictions put on you. So if you want to volunteer for race or any of the, foundation activities that are going on, we oftentimes have younger volunteers, as well as like we do Gales Gardens, which is our garden in the back. And so we'll have, Kiwanis teams or Key Club groups, beta clubs, that kind of thing, will come in and help work in those areas or work in some other areas, and they work through the foundation. So
I think that's really cool. Now, what is your role there?
So I am the marketing and sales director, which is a really fancy title for the person that goes out and tells the story about hospice and teaches you what we do. So I get the luxury of going on shows like this, or going to Rotary meetings, or any of the fun stuff we have in our community to represent our hospice and kind of just spread the message of our mission about exceptional individualized care.
And you do an awesome job at that too, by the way. Absolutely. And I wanted to mention this too. Anytime I mention Shepherd's Cove to anyone in the community, they always have a testimonial. It could be their mother, their grandmother, grandparents, whoever. And I always hear the same story, and is that you guys really care.
Well, I hope that's the case. Our staff really does care. And it's, we like to say our taglines, our heart sets us apart. I think that's pretty evident. We just received a 5-star rating, which is the new rating system that came out nationally for hospices. We are a 5-star hospice. That's something that we'll reevaluate every, I think every quarter or 6 months or so. But we are a 5-star hospice. We're one of the few in the area, and we're very excited about that. And, we've gotten some other ratings coming in here in the last little bit where we're ranked very high as a nonprofit, which I'm not going to lie, makes me happy, because if we have to, we're nonprofit. We're sometimes the little guy, and we don't have the biggest budget sometimes to make things happen. And the fact that we can do that with a smaller budget just proves that we are taking care of our patients and taking care of those and their families, because we wouldn't be where we were if we weren't. Our staff does go the extra mile. Our caregivers do go the extra mile. We've got our wonderful aides that teach you how to love and take care and nurture your family member who's going through this great change in life. And just the simple things of how to use a draw sheet to move somebody, or change a bedpan, or clean around a catheter, or just small things like how we had a lovely family that came here not long ago to do a testimonial video, and he was just talking about how much care was given to his mother when she needed to be bathed. And he said, they had had other experiences where it didn't feel like, it felt very clinical, and that our staff came in and they asked her how she wanted her hair and what kind of lotion she wanted on, and if the water was warm enough, and just really took care of her. And he was like, y'all treated her like a princess. And that meant so much to their family because they knew that they were in good hands for her to be taken care of. That same family said that, she was cold and the nurse ran out and had a brand new blanket in her car and was able to leave that blanket with them so that she could, be warm in that moment. And, I'm sure they had blankets that could be, washed or whatever. It was just, she had that and she was like, well, let's get warm, and as part of her kit, and, it's just really great to be able to tell those stories and hear those stories. And I don't have a shortage of them. Everywhere I go, if somebody sees my logo, I am stopped. And it is, you took care of my grandmother, you took care of my mother. We worked in Expo not long ago where someone entered our booth and began to cry. And it took me back for a minute because I was, we're at a business expo. I wasn't expecting that. And she said, you took care of my mother. And she said, it was several years ago, but I was a young woman when my mother got sick, and y'all helped navigate that path for me and made it easy for me to be able to be a daughter and not have to worry about the nitty-gritty details of making sure every little thing was checked off. She said, I didn't have to, in the small days where, she was under our care here in the inpatient unit, she got to just be her daughter and not her care partner and not everything else, and that really, those are the stories that really resound with me, is when we get to help carry that load. And I like to say we're blessed to help carry the burden. Not that our family members are burdens, but that weight of being a caregiver gets so heavy sometimes. And having someone who can be a partner with you through that, you just can't beat that, because you don't realize you need it until you get it.
That's absolutely true. Now, you guys also go into schools and you help that way as well.
Yes, with our in-school bereavement program. So we have amazing social workers as well that work with our bereavement program, and they go into schools and they do one-on-one or group counseling with students who have suffered an immediate loss, whether it's another student. We have sessions where they go in if the school itself has suffered a loss of a student to do individual or group counseling. But they also go out if someone is, like, say, lost a grandparent and there's a child that's struggling, or a parent or a sibling. And they do counseling Rainbow Kids with them and teach them tools to actually work through their grief. One of the greatest things about that is the kids that are attending that tend to go to our Camp Hope program. We just had our in-school Camp Hope program. We do Family Camp Hope in May, where families can come in and experience Camp Hope, which is a one-day camp. But we just had our in-school program, which was, again, it was 2 days, 2 days of different schools coming in. So we had a day with, like, younger students and a day with older students. They were able to meet with a couple of motivational speakers, our older students, to talk about how to overcome things. They were able to use these tools like, archery and swimming and face painting and all these different little techniques, horse therapy, to learn how to process those grief moments. And I think we had just over like 200, 250 students here this past time.
Wow.
And the Family Camp Hope, I think, was, well over 100, students. So they're very well attended and they're great programs, but it's just the tip of the iceberg of what we can do. That's just what everybody sees. The one-on-one and group work that they're able to do with these students, it's life-changing, because if you suffer a trauma at a young age and you're not taught the tools in order to grow and develop and learn that grief is healthy, we know the things that could happen in the tail end if you don't have that support system. And so being able to be taught, like, how to work through grief and what's normal, what's natural, and what you may come up and what may not come up, and how to use tools to, have to get through those things. It's really amazing and it's really beneficial, and we're so thankful. And it's a free service. We do not charge for that. Our grief and our bereavement support is completely free through things like grants and through the thrift shop and through our foundation. So that's a service and you don't have to be served by us in order to utilize that service. So if you did not have a family member that passed with Shepherd's Cove, that doesn't matter. You can still utilize our support programs and our group therapy for adults, as well as individual therapy for adults and with children. So
we're going to have to call it a day. Man, did time fly by. Thank you, Shalon, for being on the show. Definitely appreciate you and everybody there at Shepherd's Cove.